Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to talk about auto layout. Auto layout in Figma allows us to create dynamic frames that respond to the content within it. I'm going to show you how to use auto layout. Now, first, let's say I have a button. I want to create a little app for maybe for a food restaurant, and I have a button. To add auto layout to this item, I'll just use Shift A on my keyboard. Then automatically auto layout will be added and it will be given some dimensions, so I'm going to go over now. Here you have the spacing between items. For example, I have, let's say, within this auto layout frame, I have more than one item. Do that. Let's say Ctrl D. This item. Now I have two items within this auto layout frame. The 10 years spacing between the items, that's what it means. If I should reduce the spacing, you see the two chickens are moving closer. Let's say I want to change. Let's say I change this to fried eggs. Yeah. These two items are within this auto layout frame. This is used to adjust the spacing between the items in the frame, and this is the padding within the whole frame, the top, right, bottom and left padding. And I can change the whole padding at once, like it is done here. 10, which is the whole padding, and I can change the individual padding of the sides. So if you click on this, you see this is the top padding, right, bottom, this is the top padding, right, bottom, left, and you can adjust the content of the frame also. Likewise, you can change just the top and bottom padding and the right and bottom padding only by using this shortcut. Let's say I want the top and bottom padding to be 5 and the right and left padding to be 0. Just use 5, which is for top and bottom, then comma 0 for left and right. Then I'll hit enter. If you look at that, there's 5 padding at the top and 5 padding at the bottom, and there's no padding within the sides. So that's another way to use this padding in auto layout frame. Auto layout has a lot of functions. For example, you can fill it with color, you can give it a stroke, you can fill it with color, you can give it stroke, and you can delete items as well. You can delete items. Yeah, you can add all the effects you have here to your auto layout frame. I'm going to fill this with a color just to make it sound more pleasing to the eye. Yeah, I'm going to change the text color to white. I think I like that. I'm zooming by holding the Ctrl key and spacebar to drag the frame to where I can see it properly. Now I have this item within the auto layout frame. Let me rename the frame to add item. Then an auto layout frame, you can put more than one auto layout frame within each other. For example, this auto layout frame that I just created, I'll rename it to add item. I can put it into a new auto layout frame by just hitting Shift A. I'll first select the item, which is the auto layout from the one I first created. Then I'll Shift A to put it inside another auto layout frame. You can see this is the second one, while this is the first auto layout frame. So what I want to do here is I want to duplicate this add item. I'll use Ctrl D on my keyboard. If you notice, by pressing Ctrl D or by the arrangement is going vertically. is because within the bigger frame, which is the parent auto layout frame, the direction has been set to vertical direction. I can otherwise change the direction to horizontal by clicking on this. Vertically, horizontally. Likewise, I can reduce or increase the spacing between the items within the auto layout frame. Likewise, I can adjust the padding. But here I want the left and right padding to be 0 while the top remain 10. Yes, I think I like it like this. And also I want to change the content of the second and last item. So let's say this fried. No. Fried eggs, and this is roasted chicken. Good. Also, you can put text. In an auto layout frame, Alt drag upward to duplicate the text. So noodles. I want this to be the title, where this will be the description of noodles. I'm going to do that quickly. Now I can highlight everything, then press Shift A on my keyboard to nest all the items into another auto layout frame. This is the one I just created. These are the first ones I created. This is the second auto layout frame I created, but this is the last one I just created. Now let me rename them to the same. Add menu. This is menu items. Get the idea. Now it's just the same thing, and if you notice, the items in this last auto layout frame is arranged vertically. That's why you see some changes here. If I should increase it now, there will be vertical increment on the items within it, and likewise I can change the direction, but the way I want it is vertical. The padding as well is set to 0, which I can increase. I don't want to increase that. So on the description, let's say I will basic description here. See, if you notice the text here is beyond the frame. In fact, if I should continue to duplicate or to type more text, the text continues to go, like the width doesn't have a limit. To set a limit to the width, very simple. The default settings is auto width. Now we are going to change the settings by coming to resizing here. Then this is for the width. Set it to fill container. You can see that. Now whatever I type will not exceed the container. I believe you get the idea. And the last thing, or another thing that I want to show you, say for example we want to add an image into this auto layout frame. Let's say I want to add a rectangle then you bring the rectangle into it. If you notice, let's say the rectangle is not as big, it's not as wide as the frame, the rectangle will easily go into the frame. But in a case, let me undo that, Ctrl Z. In the case whereby the rectangle is wider than the frame, it will not go inside straight away. You have to hold down the Alt key while trying to click on the rectangle that you want to bring into it, bring it on top of it, then hold down the Alt key. Then you see this blue line. It's telling you where the rectangle is going to drop. If I should drop it here. Now I have the rectangle that is wider than the frame previously, but now because I hold down the Ctrl key, it's able to insert the rectangle into it, and the auto layout frame is going to adjust its width to the rectangle that I just dropped into it. Since it's wider than every other items in the frame, they are going to adjust themselves to contain the weight of the biggest or of the widest item. So now with this, this can be a picture, it can be anything. It can be a picture. Yes. The other thing that I want to show you is, let's say you want to use this for auto scrolling. By default, auto scrolling doesn't let me do that for you to see. Let's say I can turn this into a component. Then I can have a child component, several of that. I have several child components, and all these child components I can put them in an auto layout as well. Shift A, reduce the distance between them. Let's say the distance is 20, and sure, that's fine. I can give it each one of them padding. Should have done that earlier. Can give each one of them padding. Now, if I want this to have auto scrolling, the way I have to do it is to put them in put them in a frame, just a frame, not an auto layout frame, a basic frame, by pressing Ctrl Alt G on my keyboard. See, this is the basic frame, while this is the auto layout frame. I have to do that because if I want to give these items auto scrolling, which I'm going to practicalize your presence now, auto scrolling requires the content within the frame to exceed the width of the frame, and that doesn't work when you have auto layout frame width of the parent element. So with this, I can add auto scrolling, a sort of horizontal scrolling in my prototype. So just click on prototype, scrolling, horizontal scrolling. Now if I should prototype this, see that it's going to work. You see, it's working. Whereas if it were to be I use just this, it's not going to work. You can practice that on your own. It's not going to work. I believe you have learned one or two things from this video. It's just a basic introduction to auto layout, and it's very simple to use. And with auto layout, you can just set frames that adjust to the content that you put into it.